So today I'm speaking with Chris Yee, who's described as Ride's favorite son. Chris was introduced to me a while ago by another Australian artist,
Yep,
yeah,
Lee. Yep.
Lee
Yeah,
McConnell,
good friend Lee.
and he suggested our worlds collide. And finally, in the middle of 2023, that collision actually happened. And you might actually recognize his name from some of our merch, posters, but most importantly, he's the creator behind the Manga, RYU Manga. I'd describe Chris's art as like bright and bold, and he's a very accomplished artist with a very interesting mix of Fijian and Chinese blood, which I think it plays a strong part in his illustration style. But first of all, Chris, I just want to know more about your heritage and how your like family story starts in Ryde in New South Wales.
Thanks for having me, Sean.
Pleasure.
The Zoom. So Ryde, when I was growing up, and where I grew up in the Eastwood, and where I kind of moved back to live, actually out of choice. It's like a very Asian Australian suburb. So a lot of Chinese Australians, Koreans, Vietnamese Australians, and like sort of Southeast Asian Australians. So yeah, it's kind of weird. So not weird, but amazing. So growing up, we had such a shared cultural experience, and sort of we really developed where our families were pretty much first generation coming to Australia. Majority of my friends, and then we had that shared experience. But then in school, we'd have this Australian experience. So it's kind of crazy now at 34, which is insane. We have this kind of like mixed cultural heritage of being like Asian families and the similarities between that, and then this Aussie upbringing, growing up in the suburbs. So yeah, a lot of my work and my experience is like influenced by like suburbia, middle class suburbia, and this clash of cultures, and just really trying to find our own identity and like where we kind of fit in with everything. So yeah, that's kind of my upbringing.
What was like when you were growing up as a kid? What was your first like career ambition?
So at the time, I just wanted to draw and just sort of tell a story through like lines, because I was never that good at speaking. And still like, I mumble like crazy. So it's like my way of like, you guys would like obviously perform and sing, and like, you guys are amazing in that, projecting that character and voice. I've been to the show, I've seen you guys perform. But for me, it's like, yeah, drawing was definitely my outlet to express.
Yeah, okay. So like you over time became more competent in your skills and then just picked up different jobs.
Yeah, skills and technology. And it's always kind of been self-taught. Like I never went to school for like illustration or how to draw. I just kind of picked it up just by having fun, really. And then it was really surreal how it became a job.
Yeah.
So I guess you and your brothers and your brother and like your band and everything. It's like, I don't know if you planned it necessarily. It was definitely started from a place of passion. And sometimes, especially when it comes to a job, you have to remind yourself that as well. You're like, I'm very lucky to be doing this.
Yeah.
I love doing this creative thing as my job. It's one of those weird things.
Yeah,
But
totally.
yeah, start off with a passion.
Yeah. With doing our manga,
Yeah.
you got the storyboard from Eric Karada, and it was like quite extensive. It's basically a short story. Like, what's your usual approach for turning like a dialogue into a manga? Like, was this one different to any others, or is like there a standard approach that you take?
Yeah, I guess it's just trying to find, because it is, relatively small but covers so many like things and stories and themes and time. It's really about finding, and you only have X amount of panels to like express that. It's finding the right panel to try and tell an emotion. So for example, it could be like a hand like rasping like that, but that could say a lot about emotion. So it's like trying to find the emotion and the beats of the story that Eric's writing, and then just trying to find like symbolism for it, visual symbolism. Because it's funny, like when you're reading a comic, the picture's there, but it's kind of secondary to the dialogue. You're kind of just reading the dialogue like a story, and the pictures complement it. So it is, to me, kind of like a writer's medium. And Eric did a really good job writing it and expressing all these ideas. So hopefully, my work and my drawings complement his writing. It makes sense with the flow of things.
How did you go about imagining the visuals, like the scenarios and the way the characters looked?
Yeah, I guess like it was kind of crazy. So you guys had you had a bit of reference. You had the cover art as a bit of like, incentive and visual stimulus to go off. And then obviously it's kind of fun because like Eric wrote the script, but then I'm trying to translate it into visual form. So definitely like listening to the record, trying to sort of find the nuances of like, your record, like, but just really listening to the music and then trying to figure out the ebbs and flows of that.
Our fans definitely love the anime style. Like every time we've
Yeah.
done an anime thing, like people really like it. But like we grew up on Dragon Ball Z,
Oh yeah.
Cheese
Same
TV.
generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pokemon, Dragon Ball. It's like All Stars, man. It
There was
was like the best.
Batman,
Yeah,
Ninja
Batman. Yeah,
Turtles,
yeah.
there was
It
Dexter.
was it was
Oh
really
my God.
sick, eh? It was sick.
It was so good.
Yeah, it really affected our whole generation, eh? Because everyone just plug in and watch it before school, and then talk about the episode or talk about just be influenced and G'd off. Like it was a good start to the day.
So I just gotta go back to this because we don't have much time left. When you listen to music, does that often trigger illustrations in your mind? Like how often are you actually thinking in pictures?
Actually, not so much. Like nothing happens up here. It's all just like blank, just like
All
nothing
just
happens in
there,
the sheets.
all in
Yeah,
the
just
head.
just nothing here. It's all muscle memory. Um, no, but I definitely listened to like your record while I was drawing it, and especially like I was doing a bit of it overseas as well.
Mm.
It's just like kind of find the nuances and like I guess because you guys did plot the chapters after the song, so seeing the ebbs and flows of that record, how it sort of starts, ends, and how those different songs kind of speak to each other.
Are there any particular memorable interpretations of the music that affected you whilst you were trying to create the manga?
I think, well, definitely just like being introduced to the world and then the context you were setting with Afterlife. That was the
Yep.
first record I
Yeah.
heard. And that sounding like such a big opening record. So in terms of like a single, that sounds like a single. It
Mm.
was a single, but it sounds like, like it sounds like it reminded me of your other songs back, from your previous records as well, in terms of like it's different, but it sounded like a main song. So definitely try to capture the energy. But yeah, the new record just had a lot of like variation and nuance. And I think especially seeing, you guys perform live and how the crowd reacts to essentially like, your whole history of music was really fun, especially when you guys experimented, seeing like,
Mhm.
how people popped or how they reacted to like experimentation. So yeah, just trying to really bounce off the new record. That was really, really fun. Yeah.
Mm.